Welcome back, everybody. My name's Nancy. If you didn't know, I'm the interim SI coordinator. We did take a little hiatus from this podcast, but we are back. You know, just to be fair, we did lose a staff member. We had a lot of changes. So we're back, and we finally got Roman on here. Roman's been on my list for a bit. So again, this podcast is just an opportunity to get to know other leaders and mentors and people on the team beyond just their role too. And just hopefully you learn something a little bit about Roman. So we have Roman Ramos. Roman, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, your major and hobbies?
Yeah, my name is Roman, obviously. My major is forensic behavioral science. That's a criminology major. And then what was the other question?
Just hobbies that you have.
Oh, hobbies. I mainly like to read. As much time as I can get to read, I'll read on my phone. I really can't do books anymore. I think TikTok kind of ruined my attention span for books.
Oh, okay. So you needed a digital version.
Yes, I do need a digital version.
I'm the opposite, but okay. All right. Well, this isn't about me. So, so Roman, criminology major, forensic behavioral sciences. What in general kind of sparked your interest? At what point in your life did you kind of have an interest in, like, oh, this is something that I'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, so originally I thought I was going to go to medical school. So I was prepared to take all these. I took a lot of sciences in high school, and I went applying to Fresno State with a major in biochemistry. So I was really gearing up for that. And then I did a lot of reflection, and I'm just like, do I really want to spend my 20s in medical school and residency and stuff like that? And I don't know, law enforcement, I guess forensic behavioral science, criminology, it's always been like a plan B for me. I have a lot of family that's in law enforcement, mainly in corrections. So I'm kind of used to I'm very much exposed to that kind of lifestyle, I would say. So it was always something like a plan B for me. And when I realized I didn't want to become a doctor, I just went into criminology. Okay.
So it kind of was always in the back of your head. And yeah, I mean, that work-life balance, somebody behind the scenes here still wants to be a doctor, so we're not going to say too much. But okay. What made you pick Fresno State?
To be honest, I'm originally from the Dinuba-Reedley area, so I actually got a pretty cool scholarship here called SMIC Camp. I got into their honors program, the SMIC Camp Family Honors Program, and basically that comes with the scholarship and a stipend for housing and stuff like that. So I came here freshman year only because I got that scholarship. If it wasn't for that scholarship, I'd actually be at Reedley College. I got accepted to their honors program, and I was ready to go through it. I guess with SMIC Camp, I didn't get it the first time, so I really thought for a month I was going to be at Reedley College, but I was an alternate, so eventually they did call me back, and they did have a spot for me, so that's how I ended up here.
Yeah, no, everything happens for a reason is what they say. So yes. You were always destined to come to Fresno State, and having the SMIC Camp honors definitely takes away that financial stress too of going to college for a lot of folks. So so in terms of coming to Reedley is, what is it, 30 minutes away?
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes south of here.
Okay, so was in terms of in where you applied for, is that where did you kind of always intend to kind of stay close to home?
Yeah, I never really had plans to move outside of California just because of costs and stuff like that. And also I like being close to my family. So it was really, even if I did go to Reedley College, I would say that my last 2 years would be here anyways. So I always knew I'd end up at Fresno State. But I much prefer to stay closer to home. I'm going home this weekend. So some people can't say that because they live states away.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
It's nice to see my family every once in a while.
Gotcha. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, I have 2 younger brothers. I have one that's 1 year younger than me, and then one that's 4 years younger than me. Basically, the one closest to me, his name's Yeshua, Yeshua. And he's the polar opposite of me. Usually I'm very calm and kind of reserved a little bit, but he's very much He's out there.
Yeah, like extroverted and
Definitely.
Okay, nice. And then, are you the first in your family to go to college?
No, my mom actually went to college before I did, so
Okay, gotcha.
I guess second generation going to college.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So we found out what got you to Fresno State. What's your experience been so far here at Fresno State?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good experience, especially with SMIT Camp. I guess that experience is very niche. So like they really made us kind of like get to know my cohort or my entering class I'm going to graduate with. And they had us do a lot of like icebreaker things, and I remember we were doing like a scavenger hunt, and it was like 100 degrees outside, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I would argue that SMIT Camp really gave me a good experience where I got to know people that kind of share the same. Well, we share the same family honors. We share the same honors program, but they're basically like high achievers. So it was good to like meet those people. I actually have a few friends there, and I feel like that really made me, I guess, more connected to the school and to people, just because we were all kind of forced to like get to know each other. But yeah, I would say it's been a very good experience. Coming here, SMIT Camp offered a lot of like stuff to like get us exposed to like different programs you have here and stuff like that. So I would say it's been a nice experience.
Yeah, there's a few SMIT Camp folks on the team.
Yeah.
I feel like I always uncover at least one or two more every semester.
Yeah, like I said, they have that really like high achieving, really a lot of go-getters. So usually they do ace their classes, and they're more than happy to help other students ace their class.
Gotcha. Okay, so Roman, you're an SI leader for Criminology 50. So what in general kind of was your reasoning, or maybe what piqued your interest with becoming an SI leader? Did you know what you were kind of signing up for at the time?
I would say basically, I guess my SI journey was that I saw the emails that like you guys were looking for a CRIM 50 SI leader, and like I just kept seeing these emails, and I was getting a little concerned, to be honest, because I remember when I took the class, I did go to SI a few times, and I just couldn't imagine that course without an SI leader. It was a little concerning for me, I would say, just thinking about like my fellow criminology majors.
Yeah.
So like after I got like the second or third email, I'm just like, I'll apply and I'll see what happens. And I did end up getting the job. But it's really that concern, because even I had trouble with CRIM 50. It took a lot. I took that class my first semester freshman year, so it was like it was a very tough class, I would say, and it's a lower division, so a lot of like sophomore and freshman students take it, and I was just thinking of putting myself in their shoes. Imagine if a freshman again without an SI leader, that just. So
you felt a call to serve.
I guess, in a sense, yes.
Yeah, no, I get that. I've heard of that a few times, that our emails, consistently keep going, and people are kind of like, I guess I'll pay attention to it this time. So at least it works, because, a lot of people are on the team. But in terms of, being in, like you said, you went to SI for that course, so I think you had some familiarity with what was to come your way. What would you say was maybe your biggest kind of shock entering the program?
I guess for me, entering the program, it's a lot more than I thought of it as like a tutoring gig, basically. But I feel like it's a lot more than that. I mean, we actively work as a team, and collaboration's big here. So I'm always with my coworkers during walk-in hours, and just like the structure within like the fundamental 5, the SI cycle, it's so much more than just like tutoring, I would say. We're doing a lot more things simultaneously, and I would say like one of the biggest shocks was like doing activities, because I guess in college you don't really like do activities like the way we do with our supplies, and it was different for me to try to make activities and just trying to get students engaged, and like it kind of grew on me like when I first started here. I'll admit, like, I remember it took me, like, 3 hours to make my first planning form.
Yeah.
And a lot of other SI leaders share that experience. So I'm glad it's not just me, but, like, it definitely it takes time to refine your skills and come up with creative activities for your students.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I feel like there's this idea that I was thinking about this not too long ago with our training too, because I'm like, college students are just kids at heart too. And so I think our like icebreakers and stuff, like people, it's funny to me because people get really into it. And then, you kind of do see a different version of folks too, but, to kind of, I mean, not to say that you have to gamify everything, right? Because I think it's just realizing that like you can still, your studying doesn't have to be, traditionally like sit down and reread your notes and kind of just hope that it sticks the second time around. So I honestly get fascinated by the creativity that leaders have on the team, and how they're able to draw connections or even just theming their sessions, right? Kind of making it a little bit more memorable for students and a little bit more engaging. So, yeah. Okay, so yeah, it definitely requires a lot. There's anybody who's an SI leader now obviously knows that. And you're right, like you kind of have to break away from the idea that, if like, right, tutoring is also another form of support that they have, but I think a lot of people know what to expect when you hear the word tutor. So you kind of come in shaped, almost with like an idea of what to expect. And then, the SI leader's like, yeah, I'm not answering that. Or you're just redirecting those questions. And suddenly students are kind of like, wait, I thought this was like you basically giving me or helping me get to the answer, right? And so, well, I mean, we do help to get to the answer, but it's not going to just be handed to them. So, yeah. Okay, so what would you say, because this is, you've been with CRIM 50 for a while now. This is your... Fourth semester. Yeah, fourth semester. So obviously something keeps you coming back, right? It is a lot of work, but what is it that, kind of keeps you motivated to continue as an SI leader?
I really do like students starting to understand the content, and that's the interesting thing. You could definitely see it when it kind of like clicks for them for like a specific concept. I will say that kind of, it's a very satisfying thing to see your students like get the content and feel more comfortable with it. So I would say that's like a big part of what brings me back. And it kind of ties back to the original reason why I joined SI, to help other people in my major. And we all kind of share that experience of taking CRIM 50. So it was nice to see people understand more and then feel more comfortable. And then obviously our goal here at SI is beyond the sessions, I guess, as far as like getting students comfortable with the course outside of SI and other courses. I mean, that's obviously why we have study skills. Yeah, for sure, the transferable study skills. So you work with a faculty member that previously served as an SI leader for your very own course. So what's that experience been like? Or I don't know what your relationship was in terms of like connecting with faculty prior to, but how has working with the faculty member been because of this role? Yeah, I will admit that I think coming into this my sophomore year, I was very hesitant to like develop that professional relationship, a closer professional relationship with a faculty member. To be honest, I think that would have been like my first time getting to know faculty like that. I would say that like you can take that experience out of SI also, because obviously when we all graduate and we get into like I guess full-time jobs, you're gonna have to make those relationships with like your higher ups, your supervisors and stuff like that. So like it was definitely something I had to adjust to. But Professor Sabi, he's a great guy. He was like you said, he'd done SI before, so he was like, if you need anything, just let me know. And he's very open to working together, and he always gets my content verified on time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what would you say? I mean, you might have already kind of spoken to this in terms of like serving students, kind of bringing you a lot of fulfillment and seeing them, be successful and get through a difficult course, right? That's why SI is paired with CRIM 50. But is there anything else that you kind of enjoy most about your position beyond that part?
Yeah, I would say the creativity. I definitely have some really cool mentors and pro staff that are they've been pushing me to get more creative, to step outside my comfort zone. And I don't know. I feel like you can't get that with another campus job. Like if you work reception, like it's different. I feel like SI is a very different type of campus job where yeah, you have people pushing you beyond your limits, and I would even argue that like you guys pushing me here is like it's helping me outside of SI and it's helping me get out of my shell a little bit more. So I would argue that like it's a definitely cool experience. And like I said, I feel like it's very different. And so I would say that's one of the reasons why I kind of like working here. It's very different.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you're having a good experience. It's not always easy. I know, I feel like in SI we have a little bit of tough love, and you're right. I think sometimes, just as you guys do for students, helping people identify that, like, more than you think you do, right? And sometimes SI leaders are just as shy to contribute, just as shy to go and approach other SI leaders too, right? And but in reality, like, you have a lot. I think it's easy to see the potential that leaders have, and just trying to get them to kind of get out of their head a little bit and take a leap of faith in trying new things. So I'm glad that you've seen growth in that area for sure. What would you say is, so, okay, in terms of, I know you kind of give us, we'll go back to your hobbies, but what would you say is something that most people wouldn't know unless they kind of took the time to sit down and ask you, right?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I guess a lot of people don't know that I'm a decent swimmer. I don't swim as much.
He's a lifeguard.
I am a lifeguard. I guess you don't really know that because that's more of my summer job also. But
yeah.
I do lifeguarding. A lot of my high school years, I guess, revolved around the pool. So I did swim. I did water polo.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I was pretty decent at most of it. And I feel like I don't usually share that up front because like I don't really talk about high school as much. But I would say if I had more time, it would definitely be a hobby of mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it takes, it's one thing to be a good swimmer. It's another to play water polo, because I'm like, how do people stay up?
Yeah, it's a lot of treading. It's this like weird
movement, right?
Egg beater, yeah. That you have to do in the water. I would say that like if you start swimming and you know how to swim and you're pretty good at it, usually it doesn't become as exhausting. That's the interesting thing too. As a lifeguard, I'm not just like jumping in all the time. I'm actually teaching younger kids how to swim, and I guess both of these jobs kind of have to do with teaching, and I get that kind of like satisfaction I was talking about before, seeing my kids like basically swimming on their own.
That's awesome.
It's a lot. It's obviously it's different from like teaching content from a course, but it's
they're accomplishing something. I think that's the part that you get to witness and be a part of that journey. So that's awesome. Yeah, I have a sister who she applied and got I think she still has to do training and stuff, but she's trying to be a lifeguard, and she's all right as a swimmer, so good luck to anybody that's in that pool. But okay, so good swimmer. Okay, so you're you said enjoy reading as well. What would you say, what's the last book you read?
The last book I read? I do read a lot of like comics. And I do read kind of like the romance genre. Mm-hmm. I forgot what it's called, but basically, usually when it comes to like romance, usually I like the very like boring like college type thing. Mm-hmm. I know there's like other like genres like fantasy and stuff like that, but I think it was called Pass No Pass, and it was basically a comic about like college students, I guess, very relatable characters, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, what would you say are like, if you can give us maybe 2 book recommendations that like you really like, and you're like, if I had to put somebody on a book, this is it.
Okay, I read these books a long time ago, but I guess if you haven't read them, I guess the Percy Jackson books, when I read them during like middle school years, it was pretty good. And I would argue that the author is very good at world building. He has a few series that kind of delves into that world a little bit more. And then The Song of Achilles. It's basically like the gay version of the Iliad. So I'm
not familiar with the the Iliad. What?
The Iliad?
Oh, I have never heard of that.
You probably heard of the Odyssey.
I have heard of it, yeah, but I never read it.
Second book. The Iliad's the first one. Basically, it's the Trojan War.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, maybe I need to start reading a little bit more. Because I've been reading a little bit of the fantasy, but okay, yeah.
What kind of fantasy have you been
Well,
reading?
right now I'm reading the Throne of Glass series, so
I've
I'm about
heard
to
that.
finish the second one.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so I feel like it's really easy for me because I enjoy like the whole dragon and all that. I enjoy Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. I just finished watching A Night of Seven Kingdoms, and so I feel like when I read those books, I kind of envision a lot of the similar like I guess like scenery.
Yeah.
little
I
bit,
feel
but-
like it makes it easier to like imagine
Yeah.
as you're reading the book.
Yeah, but this is kind of my introduction into fantasy. So yeah, it's been enjoyable. But I mean, I'll come to you for more book recommendations once I'm done with this series.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, in terms of a little bit more just about you, like what is it that doesn't have to at this point it's not SI related, right? But what's maybe been some, if you got any piece of advice that's like super memorable for you that just stuck with you, right? Like someone said something to you that just stayed with you.
Yeah. No one's really said this to me. It's kind of something I had to figure out. I guess it's like
Even better, yeah.
I guess as like a high achieving student, sometimes you take classes, you take assignments that you sometimes take them too seriously. I would kind of argue sometimes you have to step back and kind of like establish that sometimes it's not that serious. You have to like take a step back. It's more about realizing that sometimes you're putting yourself through a lot of work and it gets really hard.
Yeah.
And if you burn out and you burn out really bad, it's hard to come back from that. So it's obviously everyone will say prioritize your mental health, but
Yeah.
I think it also takes a kind of mindset to just be a little bit more relaxed when it comes to like classes, courses. I mean, one class makes up, I don't know how many classes you take over 4 semesters, and that's even if you just do 4 semesters. So I think you have to develop a kind of mindset that like, okay, take it like one day at a time and don't think about everything at once.
Yeah. No, that's so real. Would you say that, you kind of talk about burnout or just, I mean, it sounds like it would put a lot of pressure, like that people are putting on themselves, right? Like you said, overachiever, high achieving student. Would you say that there's any particular maybe moment where you felt like, oh, wow, like, I am putting all this pressure on myself, or just anything that kind of stood out for you to kind of learn that lesson for yourself,
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. I would argue that this all kind of like occurred to me when I was in high school. I knew that I wanted I knew that I wanted to be in SMIT camp, so I knew I had to make myself a very like
strong candidate.
Yeah,
right?
basically. I think my junior year I was doing swim, bands. I was in a bunch of clubs, and I was taking like 2 or 3 AP classes at the same time, and I was working.
Right.
I really felt helpless, and that's the interesting thing about burnout is that sometimes, I'm going to argue all the time, so sometimes it's kind of you doing it to yourself, and obviously you didn't intend that. You were just trying to get out there, but I think also you kind of have to like, I would argue you kind of have to like test your limits, and what you know that when you know what you can handle, then you can go ahead and start focusing on specific areas, develop that specific skill, and then move on.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of like trying to figure out what works for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, like you said, sometimes you just have to learn through experience, right? So, that's important in terms of kind of recognizing like my plate is full. I can continue to add on, but things may fall through the cracks at that point, or I need to learn to say no.
Yeah.
Or just, is this, you know what I mean? So those are some wise words from Roman for sure, guys. Take notes. Okay. So, all right. So I have some rapid fire questions for you, Roman. So
Yes.
just, try to go with like what first comes to mind. All right. So are you a coffee person, energy drinks?
Coffee, energy drinks.
Oh,
like
sorry.
you.
Not me drinking coffee and at Red Bulls all the time. Okay. Anyway, this isn't about me again. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl, definitely.
Okay. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Okay. Text or calls?
Text.
Okay. 8 a.m. class or night class?
Night class.
Do you prefer to study in silence or study with music?
It depends. If I'm like studying and like memorizing material, I won't listen to anything. But like if I'm like typing, doing work, I'll probably listen to classical music. It's actually better to listen to music without lyrics than to like listen to people like talk to you, because you can kind of work a little bit more efficient.
Yeah,
But,
gotcha. Favorite artist?
I would say Tame Impala.
Oh, all right, Tame Impala. Okay. Favorite place to eat in Fresno?
Fresno. Can I do Reedley?
Sure.
You
can put us on something.
There's this Japanese place called Yoi.
Yoi.
They have very good sushi. I'm actually going to go there later today.
He's already salivating.
I'm already planning this out. I'm definitely Yoi Reedley.
Okay. All right. Well, when I'm out in Reedley, I have to remember that. But okay. So thank you so much for your time, Roman. I appreciate you coming on the podcast and honestly just sharing a little bit more about yourself, right? So now we know if ever we're doing a swim competition, you want Roman on your team. I appreciate you having been with the program this long and you continuing to be a contributor on this team. Like you very much are an asset to this team. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.